I'm starting to record because we're gonna get this all. We're gonna get all this juicy content.
Uh, I'm about to get on my computer though. Hold up, let me see.
Switch over.
Oh, my computer, the background might change.
Yeah, you'll probably have to. You just have to redo it on the on your computer.
Oh, hold up. Let's see.
While we're here,
Background.
I'm gonna go ahead and introduce us. My name is Gerald Moore, founder of athletesandcannabis.com, Ohio marijuana patient, advocate, activist, uh, former athlete. I guess I'm always an athlete, but Division I athlete, tried out for the NFL. And then we got my guy Broderick. Broderick could go ahead and introduce himself.
How we doing, everybody? I'm Broderick Randall Jr. Currently business development outreach manager at Benelieves, former key patient consultant at a dispensary in Ohio. I'm a board member of Sickle Cell Alliance Foundation. I'm a patient and an advocate, sickle cell warrior. Uh, yeah, and continuing to trying to find ways we can, destigmatize this plant.
Yeah, so that's essentially why we're here. This is our first uh, Zoom. We've had plenty of conversations personally off the record, I guess, or off the air, but we've seen a lot, experienced a lot, and so as young men, we've realized in our region, our area, nobody's really speaking our language in terms of what's going on in the cannabis industry. And so we decided we were going to come together and really use our brains and our brands and our energy to really start a movement of education, empowerment, encouragement, inspiration, and just again, like Broderick said, destigmatizing the plant because over the last 50 years, however many years, um, so many things have happened in our community, the war on drugs, and how this thing has really perpetuated our demise. And then, now you look at the legal market, it's sweeping the country. And being in Ohio, we're in the middle of the country. Uh, huge market for agriculture, but huge market for just commerce in general. But when you look at the cannabis industry, you don't really see us present in the legal side of things, and we don't really see the restorative justice for those people that have been, incarcerated for this plant. And now that we have an industry, we don't really have the representation. We're not getting the education. We're not getting a lot of, the necessary resources to thrive, and also to keep our families healthy. So, we just decided we were going to come together, have different conversations about what's going on, upload the content to our social media page, upload it to YouTube, and really just continue this conversation because it's definitely needed. We had our first conversation right before, I want to say, right when COVID hit, right before COVID hit, um, with some legislators and some people in the cannabis industry, basically trying to create awareness. And so, obviously, with the pandemic, it's made it hard to meet in person. Everything has had to be virtual. With a new industry, everything is very new, so all the laws and regulations are all over the place. Broderick could probably speak a little bit more to that, being business development side of things, but we really think there needs to be more transparency. When it comes to the board of pharmacy, when it comes to you know all of the different levels. You got anything to say about that, Broderick?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, I'm not gonna say I know all the specific laws. Um, Hence the reason why I agreed to try to do this to kind of go one by one, or not one by one, but like step by step, and kind of do an overview of the written laws and break them down.
Hmm.
But based off just from some of the laws I do know and regulations written, uh, or just kind of off the top of my head that are written, I do know that there's a lot of rules and regulations that kind of are like aren't designed for the patient. When if this is considered a medical plant, the whole purpose of it is to be medicinal benefit for the sick and those qualified uh, to use it. But it, the way it's designed, it seems like it's more focused on actual profit over the patients. So, such as the costs that could be a bit more affordable for people.
Well, just getting a
The
license,
access,
right? I mean, most physicians are charging $250, pretty much cash to get a license, right? 200 to $250 just to get a license. And then you have to have a dispensary in your area, which a lot of people don't really have great access to the dispensaries because every community doesn't have, some communities have a moratorium against cannabis. So that's locking a lot of people out of being in close proximity. So if you don't have transportation, whatever, everybody has different, you know, means. So, you know, we have to look at the holistic perspective, right? You have to look at all types of patients coming from all different backgrounds. And people need access. There's a CVS on every block, you know, there's a Walgreens on every block, there's a Walmart pharmacy. So when you're talking about medicine and you're talking about cannabis, you know, our we need our medicine to be almost on every block because we need to be able to have immediate access, right? I don't want to have to drive 25 miles, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour to have to get medicine, and when you're dealing with pain, when you're dealing with people that have different ailments and different illnesses, um, those barriers continue to perpetuate the pain and what you're going through, especially when you look at an overall patient. So I think, like we said, we have to really dive in deep on what, is the purpose of this program. Is this program really meant for the patients and to help people, live a better life? Or is this program just simply here to, you know, take all the money they can and, don't care about the patient?
correct? Yeah, no, I agree. I couldn't agree more. It's supposed to be, as you stated, about providing a better quality of life and better, style of living or way of living, I should say, for those who need the sick, um, you know, the disabled folks that typically are out of options for using the Western style traditions, form of medicine, or even those that are actually kind of on their last days that deserve to still go out, in a peaceful, healthy, or just more wellness way
Right,
versus, uh, drugged up, unconscious, not even coherent enough to
right,
to enjoy their last moments or days. And uh, I just feel like some of the word like the words are powerful. English language is powerful, but like the way it is written, as I said, some of the rules and laws, it's kind of contradicting itself
right,
because it's called, Ohio Medical Marijuana Control Program, but in so many ways they are controlling exactly what not the patients can and cannot do when truly we're all with different conditions and different illnesses. We may not have the same amount of requirements of the plant. So
right,
I feel like having the similar or congruent of allotment you know, that kind of hinders people actually benefiting from the plant or even learning how to from, the different forms of it, the different uh, education behind each forms.
Right.
Like there's so many ways that it's hindering instead of actually like uniting and forming, collectives of people that are able to like, share their stories. Not saying, freedom of speech people can't, but it's like there's not even any like patient groups outside of the dispensaries or the industry that you're able to like form technically. Like, I mean,
Right.
you can do it online, but what if we could actually like, I mean, I know there was COVID, but before all of that, if we were able to like have a social meetup, not necessarily use our medicine there, but we could meet up and talk, network.
Yeah.
uh
Well, I mean, and that's where you it comes to other states are passing adult use, right? So there's all these different things happening all over the place. So it's like, what do we do? What lane best benefits everybody? And
mhm.
that's where I think we're in that, especially in Ohio, we're in that in between. I mean, we got states like Michigan where it's adult use in Michigan. You got Illinois, you got New York that just passed. Like all these places are doing different things, and so Virginia just passed. Uh, so it's just we have to just decide which way we want to go and start to build that following, because as I see it, nobody's gonna do it for us. We've seen it. Like nobody's really, people that are in the industry, have their, they're gonna take what they can get, but the masses are being hurt. You know, and like,
Right.
and really in a medical program, you really can't judge like everybody's condition. My level of
No.
pain tolerance is completely different than somebody else's level of pain tolerance. And so
Correct.
like you were saying earlier, that's tough to be able to put a cap on how much medicine a person can get. And then if somebody needs more medicine, the cost becomes way more, you know?
And we're still, due to the lack of research and not education and technology, I mean, there's technology out there for it, but because of the, restrictions on by the government, we're still not able to even know all of the proper like medicinal research that we could know
Right,
in ways that this plant could help. But like, instead of setting us up for potentially being ready to, embrace the plant and just accept it for the medicinal medicinal plant that it is, it's almost like they tried to write it so that we could, enforce strictly, enforce it so that like only a certain, group of people could actually truly enjoy it in a sense.
right,
Because there's, I know that there's all sorts of people, of all demographics and races that come in and participate in the program.
right.
But
I mean, you
but as
worked in
far
a
as,
dispensary, right? So you saw all types of people.
but yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, as far as like even um, excuse me, participants, patients in the program, it, so many things vary from the transaction like amount or the product amount, or or even like our interaction with the patients could be based on, all right, if they don't have so much money to spend, they want to make sure they get their bang for their buck, so they gonna you know come at come at you asking like, what's the best this or what's that, like, so you can't really be mad either, because technically, if they can only afford so much, me too. I'm gonna want the best, product that I could afford to, try to get in that moment. Sadly, there was other, you know, people from demographics that could come in and didn't really necessarily bother to take the time to get to know myself or the menu. They would just buy up the menu in a sense, and it's like,
Right,
well, some people can't quite do it that way. Like, so it's just so many different perspectives to see or even consider or even think about that I don't really feel the members of the board of pharmacy considered or thought about. I wish they would have. I know there's moments where they provide a window for you to reach out and email them, but in my opinion, I think it could be uh, a better communication window, such as even allowing us to all like, or setting a few days aside for people to come meet at whether it's a bar or some kind of public setting,
Right.
or some kind of government setting, whatever they feel comfortable with, where people can come in and like talk to a panel of people and just pitch their opinion truthfully, or whether it's people that's working in the industry or people that's patient in the industry. Like, I think our voices are more important and valuable, not more important than theirs, but it's just like it should be just as important.
Well,
We
technically, our
support.
voice is more important than them because we're the patient.
Well, yeah, yeah. But we literally, without our money, without our disabilities, without our conditions, this program, there wouldn't be a reason for it.
There
So,
wasn't, and then I mean, there wasn't even a program. What, 2, 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
right. So
So
why not? If you're gonna do one, why not try to
did you
actually
see
make
how?
it beneficial?
Did you see the number that they estimated for how many people they thought were gonna sign up for medical cannabis or medical marijuana in the first couple years?
No, I actually didn't.
They projected a very low amount. I can tell you that. So I don't know, but it's like you know,
Yeah,
alcohol is big here, tobacco is big here. Uh, so we got to understand what we're up against. When
right,
it comes to cannabis, because that's going to change a lot of industry. Like the lumber industry is going to be changing because you got hemp. And I think that's something we also need to talk about. We can obviously talk about, cannabis for medical purposes, but I think, especially our community, we really need to talk about the broader scale of what the possibilities are with, the cannabis plant, because
right.
when you talk about hemp, I mean, hemp is federally legal right now. So we can be in the hemp game, you know,
Hmm.
and it's the cost of entry is cheaper than getting into, the medical marijuana game. But you and I happen to be in those spaces, so we get to kind of see different things. But talking about that, would you mind sharing where your picture is from and your background, just for some context?
Yeah. This is him. This picture of the Hemp Grow facility, kind of based in Dayton. It's a tier two. I want to say, tier two level. So like one of the smaller ends, but they're working on growing and expanding when possible. But they had a pretty solid uh craft grow going on, and in my opinion, I think like quality over quantity is definitely best. You don't want to start somewhere too big and overdo it if you can't actually uh you know control it. And that's not to go get off topic or go too far off subject, but that's another conversation. But
I think it's all good. That's the whole purpose of what we're doing. I think, we get to come at this from a different angle that, a lot of people don't come from, in my opinion. We can touch on all different things, you know what I mean, and allow it to be fluid because we're living in a space where, just like Shakari Richardson, right? She just got drug tested, and she's on the world stage, but she ran in Oregon where cannabis is legal, and she comes out and apologizes to the world as if she's done something wrong. Like, in no world where me and you could smoke perfectly fine that this
Right.
girl, could potentially ruin her career.
Well, the sad part is that the the media, in my opinion, they focus, and a lot of them focuses on the like negative aspect of things.
Right,
Uh, People are so lost and caught on the fact that she used an illegal substance, like moments before her big moment. But it's like, truthfully, if we really all did our research and studies and homework or whatever, she used the safe, one of the safer alternatives out there instead of going to grabbing a bottle of alcohol or taking some pills to try to help relax her mind or get her mind off things. Uh, and people are like, there's different react or different opinions to it and reactions, obviously. But I hope that this is a big awakening to the world, not just the cannabis community. That like, okay, enough is enough. We need to change the classification of this plant because it doesn't affect. Clearly, she's been, even if this one moment she got caught using cannabis, that's not her first time using it.
right,
She's been able to you know moderate, however manage and use that to still be productive. Cannabis doesn't make you not productive.
right.
That's the thing that people are trying to say, and the lack of those that are not educated properly try to say like, oh, it's gonna slow her down or make her lazy, but they really don't know it could actually, open up her lungs or broncholators, and really actually make her even more prepared for the race if we actually knew, or we were more open minded instead of closed minded to the stigma that this plant has. I feel like this this wouldn't even be that big of a subject or deal. It'd just be like, oh, people should really be showing more empathy. Like, oh, she lost her parent. Jesus, she only used cannabis. It's not the end of the world.
Well, think
Like,
about it,
what
man.
about
Like,
Michael Phelps?
oh, right? Think about it. Most people, if you lose a parent, you're not performing at all. Like there's a lot of people. They lose a parent, bro. They can't be. They not going to work. They not showing up. They depressed. They down. She literally lost a parent, and then did you hear how she found out? She found out from a
Through the
reporter.
media. Yeah,
Like, who does that? You know what I mean? Like,
that's a lack of respect right there. Like,
so that's it's the whole situation that just irks me, and especially being an athlete. The media just they're like bloodsuckers. You know what I mean? Like, um, and I think like Kwame Brown talk about it a lot too, but we've just been so caught up in it. But as black men, we don't realize, man, we don't have no voice. When you play in the sports arena, they muzzle you, so you really don't hear from the athletes. You know what I mean?
yeah, you can't take a stand.
Yeah, you can't really take a stand because if you take a certain stand, you know what I mean? Oh, the fans don't like it. So then the fans gonna be telling the owners that they need to trade you or something like that. Or they're gonna put you in the media, so then they crucify you in the media. You got Stephen A talking trash, you got all these white dudes talking trash, everybody, and then they're defaming you. They're calling out your character. So they're saying, now you got people that have never even heard of Sha'Carri Richardson, never even heard of people like Josh Gordon, would never know those people if it wasn't for their extreme amounts of talent and gift. And then they get on the world stage and everybody feel like they could just judge their whole existence. And it's like, bro, like weed is the least thing. We celebrate alcoholism. We celebrate Peyton Manning,
To promote it.
holding the beer, right? Like all these different things, like, you know, are their marketing purposes towards our marketing purposes, two totally different things. So I think it's up to us, like to really, use our platforms, use our voice to really support those things that we support, because again, as black men, when have we really ever had the freedom to have a platform like this to be able to create our own narrative, share our own stories, and then be able to upload it and share it to the world, without having somebody looking over us to control us. It's still a very new thing. So I think we got to continue to just exercise our right, because I can tell you from being an athlete, not at the Olympic level, but college level is pretty big. You see it. You don't see us at the top. When it comes
Right.
to everything going on the business side of things. You see us on the field, you see us on the court, you see us on the track. But when it comes to the marketing department, to the business development, the ownership, the GMs, when it comes to these marketing advertising firms, when it comes to the news and media outlets and the ownership of who's actually owning and distributing all the information, we're really nowhere to be found. And we see this, in the cannabis industry, right? I feel like this is something that we see in, you can go in a dispensary and not really see anybody that looks like you.
Right.
You know, so I think those are
Yeah.
some of the things that
I
we gotta point out.
mean, honestly, from my experiences, I mean, you may here and there you see a few of us. Uh, you may get lucky to see a few of us working in the dispensary, but from my experience, a lot of people of color are actually the security working in the industry versus like in the like the real industry. So it's kind of like oxymoron. Like what the hell? Like y'all in it, but you protecting people that used to arrest or that's been continue to use it and never and not get in trouble.
Right.
But,
Yeah, man, it's real weird. I've seen some security guards too. I'm just like, it's a little different, but I don't know, man. When you look at the nuts and bolts of how many people have been arrested for weed, small amounts of weed, and then you see that there's an industry now. There's a legal industry. There's a legal market, and we just act like we weren't just locking people up
right,
and still locking people up for the same thing. Like, and then telling them, well, you can't do it like this. You don't have $1 million to open up a facility. Your ass up. So like, what are your thoughts on like home grow? What are your thoughts on that?
uh, I think home grow is just simply freedom of citizens' rights. Any adult human being's rights. They should have. They should mean. Why can't you grow your own food or medicine? You can cultivate your own beer or alcohol. I don't see why you shouldn't be able to do that. The same with a plant. I mean, you can have most other house plants or out uh, crops, whatever you may want to try to grow indoor. Why or produce? Why can't you? Or even herbs. Why can't you grow this herb?
Right.
Uh, so I think it's something that just should be automatic almost. Sadly, it's something that people have to fight for, and people are getting in trouble for, and don't have the right to. Like some states, including ours, believe that only the people with $100,000 plus to blow deserve the right to own something like that. And I don't think that's fair, especially to those that's sick. As I said earlier, cost is definitely something that's major. So why not help the sick eliminate costs in their life? If, not saying that every sick person could be able to go, hence why there's still room for all of us to be able to participate and operate, because there's still going to be the need for uh, facilities and dispensaries to provide, legally clean tested medicine. But why can't a home grower that's able that may have a condition participate with that same industry or uh, those same companies. Like in a sense, what if he could produce some crop that's quality enough for to be sold to patients as well?
Right.
That should be allowed, or even produce his quality or his crop and then get it processed by a legal facility. He should be able to do that and turn his medicine into other forms
Right.
by working with other established businesses in the already industry. But it seems like they don't. Right now, they don't want a community or the gathering of people to working together to make
Right.
better medicine, a better lifestyle. So I don't know. I definitely think homegrown should be considered and thought about, talked about, and supported for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
But
I'm not a grower per se, but I think having the ability to do that and even be able to learn and take care of your own. I mean, provide your own medicine. Like, come on. Like,
let's
it's not like
let's
you a scientist and you got like a meth lab in your basement. You know what I mean? Like, if you got some fucking plants, if you got some seeds, some light, man, like you should be able to grow your own.
yeah, like let's say in the program you get a strain that you do enjoy, uh, but you can't consistently find it.
Right.
Why can't you buy the genetic and grow it yourself and be like, hey, I found something that works for me. I'm gonna just now produce it myself. So it's always around.
Right.
Uh, it should
Well,
be
we know
what
why they won't do that, or they don't want to do that, because that's gonna take away from some of that tax money.
what are they doing with the tax money though? Like it's just, if you're gonna tax the sick or the poor,
We need to figure out
then
what are the
why not
tax
help them?
monies doing?
Like give it back to them.
Where
Like
is the tax money from the Ohio medical marijuana program? Where is it? Where is it going?
control program. Don't forget
Control
that word.
program. What is
Yeah,
it? The Ohio medical marijuana control program?
yeah, yeah. You gotta keep that in there because that's how they wanted to emphasize that. You know.
Control.
Yep, that's the official name. OMMCP.
We want to control you.
Correct.
And they
They
talking
want to.
about if you have your cannabis card, they're gonna take away your right to carry your gun. Get out of here.
Yeah, which to me sounds even more confusing because usually cannabis is so sought after that you may want to like if it's being or known in the public or you're out in the public buying your medicine, wouldn't you want to have some kind of sense of protection knowing that all right, I can if there is any trouble, I do have the right to have something to protect myself. For me, if there's any trouble for me just simply going to get my medicine or having it on me
Right.
from other people that might not be able to access it, or even the law. I'm not saying I need to have a weapon with the law, but I'm just saying in general,
It's your
you
right.
could still get it. Yeah, it's like human right, just as well as I should be able to grow. I should be able to pick and choose if I want to possess a weapon. Not obviously there's a time and place to have it, but you should not be able to tell me I choose one or the other.
Right.
Get the hell out of
Like,
here.
I'm a grown ass man. You got to get the fuck on.
It's just so again that falls into the category of the control program situation.
Yeah, and that's why also we gotta speak up and we gotta start putting these events on because they just trying to control everything. And we gotta let them know they ain't in control of this. We in control of this.
Yeah, we need enough people though. If the more people, the better. Like obviously, power to the people, but
Yeah.
we could
But
either
like I
keep
said, I think we gotta get our
complaining or,
generation, man. Like that
well,
joint we was
yeah,
just on ain't gonna cut it. I tell you that.
yeah, and we need a lot of people. Like we
Yeah.
just need people to
People
just
is
really be open minded and also militant in their actions and like move. You got to actually like take action, not just talk about it and discuss it. Like I mean,